Wacko that told him that though.
Because his statement in the motherfucking his statement there. What?
Bro, what you mean?
Damn, Triple
Because
OG.
been 3
obviously
years.
you ain't going to court because you was going to court.
Triple
Every
OG.
time you go to court, they gonna let us know you going to court. So
I can't go to court for immigration if I got an open
nah,
gun
what
case.
about
fool.
the gun case, bull?
I can't go to court for immigration if I got
They
an
will
open
give
gun
you
case.
your
man.
time.
Wack 100 has been yelling snitch at everybody for years, loud and non-stop. But now, a leaked wiretap linked to 21 Savage has flipped the script. People are digging into Wack's 2005 federal gun case, and the streets are beginning to wonder, has he been double-crossing all along? Picture this, the man who always barks about rats might have just flashed a badge himself. Even if it was for only a second, that second could have been the moment everything unraveled. But hold on, that is not even the wildest part. The streets are whispering that 21 Savage himself may have been the one who leaked that tape. Not shared, leaked. People are saying he held on to that recording, just waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And honestly, can anyone blame him? Wack has been dragging 21's name for years, calling him a snitch, accusing him of cutting deals with ICE to stay in the US, even trying to link him to the whole YSL situation. And 21? He mostly stayed quiet, threw a few lines back, then kept it cool. But if he really dropped that wiretap, that is not just drama, that is a move. Straight chess, no talking, just letting the tape speak for itself. After all those clubhouse sneak disses from Wack, it feels like 21 finally snapped, without saying a word. And now, when you start putting it all together, it looks like Wack has been screaming snitch to keep the heat off his own back. And this is not even new. People have been hinting at this for a while. Just a few months ago, reports surfaced that Big U got hit with RICO charges. But before he turned himself in, he got on video and called Wack 100 out, said he was working with the feds. That is a bold accusation. And now, things are starting to look real suspicious. Here is where it gets shady. Before the RICO charges hit the news, before the arrests, before a single document dropped, Wack already knew what was coming. He called up Big U's wife and sent a message like it was 911. He has to leave now. Wait, what? That was before Big U even got touched by the feds. Wack was out here sounding alarms like a first responder. But instead of helping, it felt more like he was setting the stage. That did not sound like a warning, it smelled like a setup. Like Wack knew the raid was about to hit and made sure he looked like the hero after tipping them off. And get this, after Big U got booked, Wack hit the internet acting wild, talking reckless, trying to flip the script and paint Big U as the snitch. Claimed he had a BlackBerry he was using to talk to the feds. But that move just made people more suspicious. Like, why is he always the first to know what is about to happen? How is he always in the middle of the drama, but never the one getting caught up in it? That call to Big U's wife felt more like a man playing both sides, warning the very person he may have helped get lined up, standing right next to the fire, but somehow never getting burned. That is when folks began to see Wack in a whole new light, not as some street gatekeeper, but maybe someone hiding behind the Watchdog Act. And all this mess goes way back to 2005, when Wack and his brother got pulled over in Texas. At first, nothing too crazy, just speeding. Cops asked the usual questions. Wack said they were heading to a funeral in Oklahoma. But when they refused a car search, the cops brought in a K9. That is when things popped off. The dog sniffed out a shotgun, a rifle, and a pistol, all loaded. Now here is the part nobody can brush off. Wack and his brother were already convicted felons. So, getting caught with loaded firearms? That is automatic federal time. No walking away from that. Cases like that end rap careers before they even start. But somehow, Wack made bail and cruised back to LA like it was nothing. Then silence. 2 whole years went by, no court dates, no trial, no noise. And then out of nowhere, the whole case was dismissed. But not because of missing evidence or legal errors. Nope. The court stamped it, dropped in the interest of justice. Hold on, what? If you know how the system handles felons with guns, you know that phrase does not just fall out of the sky. That is not mercy, that is a trade. Somebody gave something up. Wack later tried to rewrite history, claimed the search was illegal, said that is why the case got tossed. But that was just a cover-up. The records were public, and not once did the court mention an illegal search. Just a clean-cut dismissal. No explanation, no complications, and the timing, that is what sends chills through this whole story. Because just a couple years later, Suge Knight, Wack's old boss from the death row days, started catching major heat from the feds. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Suge got hit with a gang injunction. His entire circle was torn apart. Wiretaps, raids, names flying through court documents. But Wack? Untouched. No charges, no press. just smooth sailing like he was never in the room. His name did not show up, not once. Then came that wild kidnapping case tied to Shaq, the one involving the Main Street Crips. Inside the transcripts, there is this guy named Back making calls, leaving messages. And guess what? People have been whispering for years that Back was really Wack 100.
And I just want to say this to y'all. When they raided my houses and my property, they was asking about Wack. Wack, loose cannon, 600, and this internet stuff. All of y'all filed. All y'all who be sending it around the internet, all y'all who be promoting and listening to what they saying, all y'all giving these likes and hidden likes, all y'all supporting this.
Now jump to present day. Wack is all over the internet pointing fingers at everybody. Ghana, BG, Brick Baby, 21, even Jay, Diggs, acting like he is the street's moral compass or something. But let us keep it real. The 2005 federal case does not match the image he is trying to sell. You do not beat a federal gun charge as a felon with 3 illegal firearms in your trunk unless you are either the luckiest man alive or you gave something up. And now, that new video has surfaced, the one where a police ID flashes for just a split second. It brought everything right back. Not just the badge, not just the drama, but that lingering question from nearly 20 years ago. What did Wack trade to walk away that clean? Because let us be honest, Wack's entire brand has been built around one word, snitch. That is his go-to insult. Anytime a rapper gets arrested or signs a plea deal, Wack is the first one on Clubhouse yelling they folded. He did it to Ghana, claimed he had a 2-hour interrogation tape and threatened to leak it if Ghana did not come clean. But the tape never dropped, just more loud talk. He came for BG too, a man who already served over a decade behind bars. Claimed BG cooperated, but no paperwork ever showed up. Even BG's former cellmate went public saying BG stood solid and never folded. But did Wack care? Not even a little. He just kept talking louder than ever, like facts did not matter. On the surface, it may look convincing. People who do not dig too deep might think Wack has some kind of moral code. But the ones who have been watching closely, they are starting to see the pattern. Wack gets the loudest when the heat is on him. Every single time something shady circles back, he flips the script and starts pointing fingers. And here is the thing, Wack records everybody. Seriously, that is not how real ones move. You do not hit record on every conversation unless you plan to use it, or pass it off. People are starting to catch on, especially after noticing that some of the rappers he pulled onto Clubhouse ended up catching cases. Loose Cannon went on there, talked a little too much, and boom, got jammed up later. Now people are wondering, was Wack setting these guys up to run their mouths? Making sure the clips went viral so prosecutors could swoop in after? The whole thing is starting to feel orchestrated. From how he provokes people into arguments, to how leaks magically show up right when they benefit him, not everything is hard proof, sure. But that pattern? It is impossible to ignore. At some point, you have to step back and ask, what is really going on here? That leaked badge video may have been the spark, but it did not come out of nowhere. This fire has been building for years, starting with that 2005 case that vanished like it never existed. Then came Wack knowing about the RICO charges before they even hit. Add in the wiretap talk, the flashing badge, the recordings. It is starting to look less like coincidence and more like a setup with every move. And now, it is all boiling over. Wack has been riding this wave like he is untouchable. But the streets are connecting the dots, and it is not looking good. That wiretap did not just expose one moment, it peeled back a whole blueprint. People are saying this is not just about clout or beef. It is about control. Wack has been building this messy empire off secrets, manipulation, and fear. Think about it. Why would a man with that much dirt on everyone always have a mic on? Always leaking just enough to shake things up, but never enough to burn himself. It is like he is playing puppet master while claiming he is just an honest voice in the game, but people are not buying it anymore. Even those who once backed him are starting to switch up. Behind the scenes, some industry insiders are distancing themselves. Labels are quiet. Artists are not speaking up like they used to. That Clubhouse King energy Wack had? It is fading, and fast. Because once the streets feel like you are moving like a plant, using your platform to trap others, there is no coming back from that. The respect turns into suspicion. And the loyalty? Gone. And remember, this all circles back to one question that never got answered. How did a felon with 3 loaded guns tied to a dismissed case manage to skate for decades while everyone else fell around him? Now, with all this smoke, from leaked audio to federal whispers, people are no longer just looking at Wack like a loudmouth. They are looking at him like a problem. And if this next tape drops, like some say it will, it might be game over for real. Now rumors are flying that there is another tape, and this one might hit way harder than the last. Word on the streets is someone is sitting on footage that could finally expose how deep Wack's ties really go. Not just with rappers, but with people far above street level. We are talking government names, backdoor meetings, and sealed deals that were never supposed to see daylight. And what makes it worse, folks are saying Wack has been paying to keep certain clips from dropping, allegedly cutting quiet deals behind the scenes to make sure certain people stay silent and certain files stay buried. But you already know his secrets do not stay hidden forever, especially not when you have spent years making enemies on every platform. From Clubhouse to podcasts to the streets, Wack has been pressing everybody. But if this new tape drops, it could flip everything upside down. People are already questioning how he moves. But this could be the final nail in the image he has worked so hard to sell. All that tough talk, all those he's a snitch claims. Suddenly, it might look like projection, because let us keep it real, if the streets get hold of something solid, like video proof of him moving foul, it is over. There are only so many times you can talk your way out before the truth starts talking louder than you ever could. And once that tape hits the timeline, there is no turning back. All those years of Wack dodging questions, spinning stories, calling people out, it could all come crashing down with one click of a play button. This is not just messy, it is calculated. And the deeper people dive into the timeline, the clearer it becomes Wack might have been hiding in plain sight the whole time. Think about it. All the rappers he accused of being snitches? No paperwork, no confirmed cooperation, just noise. But the one name that keeps circling back every time cases vanish, people get exposed, or the feds seem oddly informed? Wack 100. That is what makes this different. This is not just about proving he is tied to the feds. It is about what that really means. If it is true, if Wack has been plugged in this whole time, feeding off chaos, pulling strings while pretending to be real, then the entire story we were sold about loyalty, street codes, and who really runs this culture, might have been a lie. People joke about it online. But let us be honest, it is not funny anymore. Not when lives, careers, and families are getting torn apart by what one man says behind a mic, and now that same man, the one who built his brand by calling everybody else a snitch, is the one folks are really side-eyeing. Asking the question that changes everything. What if he was wired from the start? Because if that is the case, then this whole game has been compromised for years. And the craziest part? Wack is still talking, still going live, still stirring the pot. And whatever he says next, that might be the final spark that sets it all off. If you are watching this and feeling just as shook, hit that subscribe button, like this video, drop a comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear the truth. Stay locked in, because this story is far from over.